Well, hey guys, I hope you guys are having a great Thursday. I am fired up to be here with you guys today. This is going to be an awesome webinar. Thanks for showing up. Still got a ton of people logging on. We've had about 300 people sign up for today's call, maybe have tipped over the 300 mark. And because of that, we had to get new software and all kind of stuff. So thank you so much for jumping on the call today. My name is Casey Graham, and we're going to really dig in here in just a few minutes and get started. And we're just excited today to get it heated up, because where I am, it is absolutely frigid cold. I am looking out here where I am from where I'm having this call, and there's still tons of snow and ice. And in Atlanta, they shut the schools down for about seven or 8 days. They'll be totally out of school. So it's just been crazy around here, which has been fun. But as guys are coming on the call, I want to thank you for being here on time. And I've seen so many names and so many people. It's just great to be here with all of you and just to communicate and talk today about a couple of things that are going to be good. And so we're going to talk about fast funding, and we're going to talk about how to fund your church fast early in 2011 and not just wait around till the end of the year or hope that we get that one big year-end gift, things like that we may usually do in church world. So before we start anything, I'm going to pray for us, and then we're going to jump in and get rocking and rolling. So let me pray for us. Father, thank you so much for an opportunity to have this call today. And Lord, I pray that as we journey through the call, that this would be about everybody on the line. It'd be about their church. It would be about the 75,000 people that are represented from the churches that are on this call. And Jesus, I just pray that your heart would come through, that this would be about you. This isn't about me. This isn't about our organization. It's not about even just one specific church. This is about your church, the Bride of Christ. And so we give this to you today. We really are thankful that we have technology to do this. We pray that goes smooth. And, Lord, we pray that the content that's delivered today will be practical and it will be help every single person on the call and the people that are represented in your church. We love you, and we pray this in your name. Amen. Well, guys, my name is Casey Graham, and I am the founder of the Change Group. And if it's your first time to connect with us, you're just going to learn real quick that we like to get fired up around here, that this is not going to be a boring financial call. And at the Change Group, all the different stuff that we do, we totally believe in energy, we believe in passion, and we believe in really funding the vision of local churches at the highest level possible. And that's what we want to do here today with you. I co-authored a book called Funded and Free, How to Fund Your Church Vision and Free Yourself of Financial Worry. And that book was about 50 ways that you can just practically increase operational revenue. And so today, as we jump through the call, I really am praying that you will just catch maybe just one or maybe two nuggets that you could take away, that you could hear today and actually implement tomorrow. And so I'm excited to talk with you about what we're gonna talk about. Why is this call important for your church? Well, I think there's a couple of different reasons. I think the very first and probably the most important reason is that it's about Jesus. Matthew 6:21 says, "For where your treasure is, their heart will be also." Okay, and so you go, what does that have to do with anything? Is that just the token scripture, Casey, that you throw in at the front because you're supposed to? And the answer is absolutely not. In every environment that we communicate, whether we're on site with people, whether we are working with clients in our intensives where people come to Atlanta and meet with us, or whether we're doing a webinar, or whether we're doing a digital resource, all the different environments that we do, we truly do believe that the end game is not that. That the end game is that every single person that is under the leadership of a pastor, under the leadership of a minister that's maybe on this call today, we are praying and we are hoping to be a change agent in this financial world to crush the idol of greed in people's lives. Jesus said you will serve God or money. And we totally believe that he said that on purpose. And we believe that stuff and money and possessions are the things that are going to allure us away from our relationship with God just as much as anything else. He didn't say God or sex. He didn't say God or substance. He said God or money. It's that strong of a pull. And so our heart is that we can get as many people's dollars flowing into the kingdom and flowing into the local church as absolutely possible. And so we're going to go hard after that today, and we're going to really dig into some things, some strategies. So as we start talking about these different strategies, I want you to know, and I want you to be fully aware that the heart behind it is to help people, not just get something from them. So the second thing is there are unique opportunities for increase in the new year that most churches don't tap into. And people wait around to the fall or to the year end and hope to make up budget and hope to come out even. And we're going to really focus in today on some unique opportunities that you can do now in the new year. Don't just wait around. Guys, there's 5 cycles of generosity. Man, I wish we could get into all the different cycles and the systems and all of that stuff that we coach churches, but we're just going to focus on one today. We're going to be very focused and specific in the new year cycle. And it's a cycle of generosity that's very unique, and it offers very, very, very good opportunity to increase giving. The other thing we're going to do is I want to show you how it's possible to see an operational increase of 11% to 39% in your operational budget. Not some gimmick or some game or some capital campaign or anything like that, but how you can increase the giving in your church between 11 and 39%. And you say, why 11 and 39? Because over the 3 years that we've worked on site and we've worked through telecoaching and all that kind of stuff, that's what we see happen. Through our coaching and stuff that is implemented in to different churches, you can see that type of increase, and you can see it pretty quickly. It's not as hard as you think. And so that's why this call is important today, because we really want you to get the heart behind it, and we also want you to get some strategies that are going to be super helpful for you and for your church. And so let's not waste any time. I want to jump straight into it, and I want to go right after the very first strategy I believe that you can implement in your church and get this thing rolling. The fast funding strategy number 1 is this: make your budget sexy. Make your budget sexy. Now, oftentimes the words budget and sexy are not used in the same sentence, and actually I've never heard it said in the same sentence. But what we found is that most budgets, when people think of the word budget, especially a church budget, it's boring, it's mundane. It's the old guy in the suit and the calculator, the old accountant who just cares and is a bean counter. It's just for the guy who really cares about that. It's for the bookkeeper to take care of. And what we found is one of the best things that you can do early in the year is to really make your budget sexy to people and to show people the why behind the what in your budget. And we're going to pull out a couple of different things that you can do, and you can actually do it this weekend. You can plug it in now. That will help people really grasp the why behind the what. Why is the budget important? Why is giving important? Why is generosity important in January and February and March? And what does that really look like? And so we're going to talk about how to make a budget sexy. But my question is this. You know, does your budget look like this? Is your budget, is it a spreadsheet? Does it look like stats? Does it look like graphs? Does it look like trends and charts? Is that what people think of in your church when they think of giving or your budget? Is that really what it is? And in most places, that is the picture people get. When they hear the word budget, when they hear the word finances, they think of this, and they think of the very few people who actually care about this kind of thing, because there's very few people who really do care about this kind of thing. We know that because most people do not live off of a personal budget. Most people aren't good at spreadsheets. Most people don't do that. And so we're at a disadvantage immediately when it comes to finances and early in the year and a New Year budget and church and all that kind of stuff. And so what do we do? So I ask the question, does your budget look like this, or does your budget look like this? Is your budget full of stories? Now, this is a picture of a kid that's been baptized in a foreign country. It shows a story. It shows meaning. It shows something where people are making a difference. This shows opportunity. This shows purpose. This shows passion. This really grips the heart. This is a picture of what funding can do. And so my question for you is are we showing stats and figures? Are we showing stories? And are we showing life change when it comes to our budget? Because here's what I know. People could care less about funding a spreadsheet. People fund people. And we want you guys to have the opportunity to really make your budget a little bit more sexy at the beginning of this year, to present it to your people, to show your people what your budget really looks like and how it's making a difference in people's lives and how they are a part of it, okay? So how do you do that? Well, a sexy budget is tangible. Tangible. Here's what we found. Tangibility always increases generosity. Tangibility always increases generosity. And you say, well, what does that mean? Well, just drive on any college campus and you will see names, people's names on buildings as you drive around the campus. Now, you tell me why that is the case. Because people like to see their names on buildings. It is a tangible thing. They gave the money, their name gets on the building. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that you need to put people's names on your church building. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that the more tangible that you make stuff for people to give to, the more apt they are to become a part of it. I mean, just think about it. Think about Hurricane Katrina when it came through. Think about the funding that happened. Well, it was a tangible, it was something people knew that they were giving to. Think about how Compassion International, an organization that feeds orphans and clothes them and educates them in foreign countries, how they make it very tangible for you to see where your money is going and making a difference. Now think about your church. When people in your church, if you gave a sheet of paper out to everybody and asked them to write down, what do they think about when they think about your church budget? What would that be? And so what we would say, guys, I'm telling you this is gold, and this really will help you, is to take 3 to 4 things that you have inside your operational budget right now. It may be something to do with adult ministry, student ministry, or children's ministry. It may have to do with missions. It may have to do with different areas, but take 3 to 4 things that you can pull out of your budget, and you can move it from a line item, and you can turn it into a story, or you can turn it into something that people say, yes, that is what we are giving to, and that is what we're funding. And if you can pull it out and you can make your budget look like that, and not just stats and statistics, people will fund it. A great example is a church that I work with is that what they needed to finish out their children's space. They were doing some children's space work, and they were building out, you know, a different space for the children, and they needed to finish it up with signage and different things that would help make it aesthetically look better. Well, people love to give to that kind of stuff. Now, it went through their operational budget. They didn't normally have that in their budget. It was going to be something that was going to be over and above, and they throw that out there, man, and what happens is it sparks something inside of people when they can see that's where my money's going. That's tangible. I can see that happen. The other place to do it is the baptistry. When somebody is baptized and really showing and making a monthly or weekly or however often you're baptizing people, and we hope you're baptizing people, that's what this whole thing's about, and making it about that story, make it about the person, make it about that. And so pull those things out, 3 to 4 operational objectives, and make it tangible, because tangibility always increases generosity. A sexy budget is also beneficial. Make the budget about the benefit to them. Oftentimes, and the reason why we may even be on this call is that the budget is about us. What can we get out of the budget? What can we get out of the people? How much will they give to us so we can do our ministry? Guys, I am telling you, if you can learn to flip that, and if you can learn to make it about them, and show that people truly do care about themselves. I mean, it's just reality. It's life. And some of the best funding organizations get this. And they realize that in all of their communication and in everything, especially in their budget and what they're funding, is this about them. So when you pull out these 3 to 4 operational objectives to highlight and to show people, one of the things you want to do is you really want to communicate how it's going to benefit their family, how it's going to benefit them, and how they are going to be making a difference and why they are the hero in the story versus us being. And you may go, well, you know, I don't want to do that. Well, I'm just telling you, it absolutely works. And so make the budget beneficial to them. Show them their benefits. Make it a win-win versus making it just all about, well, we need to give to the church so the church can do this, this, and this. People care about them. They don't care about the organization or institution necessarily of your local building and your local stuff and that kind of thing. Now, some people do, but most people care about themselves. And so help them with that. And then ultimately over time, I'll show you how you can get to that being a spark for when they'll get started giving. And that can be a great place to grow them in their area of generosity. The third way you'd make a budget sexy is to make it urgent. Create urgency of what can't get accomplished unless it's funded. And now this is one of the things where my pastor, Andy Stanley, does one of the best jobs I have ever seen. He doesn't get up and beg for money every weekend and all that kind of stuff. But one of the things that Andy really does is he asks the question, why now? Why is it important in January that we are faithful stewards? Why is it important now at the beginning of the year that we start outright honoring God in our finances? And inside of messages, inside of communication, bringing it up, even when you're talking about subject that seems non-related, maybe like marriage or different things like that that you're preaching about in your church, and to bring this up and to create urgency to say, guys, we need to start well. January and February usually is a slow month because we know that Visa and MasterCard are staring you in the face from Christmas, and we want to help you with that. And so one of the best things you can do is to create an urgent appeal at the beginning of the year to help people prioritize putting God into their finances. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you, is that people are responding to regret because the last year they didn't change like they thought they would in their personal finances in your church. And so regret's driving them. And also something that we have working for us in a funding capacity is resolution. And they're resolving that this year is going to be different. And so we have the opportunity to really dig into that resolution and say that this year is going to be the year that we honor God first. And we really can wrap some communication around that, and we can make it urgent about let's do this now, because if we wait, we know what happens. Over time, slowly the resolution goes away and it fades, et cetera, et cetera. And so we can make that kind of urgent appeal and ask, and it really connects well with people at this point in the year. Now, I'll tell you the best thing to do. Now, this is practical. This is worth your time. Get them connected to online digital recurring giving at this time of the year, where they sign up one time and the money just comes out of their account and it goes into your organization. I saw a huge study I wish I could get into on digital giving, but that is absolutely a great thing that you can do at the beginning of the year that will help people. And so go ahead and do that before January. You can do 2 weeks in your offering time. You can talk about it, and you could set a goal. You could have 10, 15, 100 families sign up to say, I'm going to put God first in my finances, and create urgency inside of your budget. The other thing is visible. People fund what they see. People fund what they see. And my question is, what are we keeping in front of people as it relates to funding? If we're just banking on the fact that, the couple of message series or messages that we teach a year are going to get it done, it's not going to work. I will tell you this, that your church is perfectly set up to get the results you are currently getting. That something's got to change. And I believe the visibility piece has got to change, where people have got to see more often, and they've got to see it more obviously, and they've got to see every piece of where their money is going and why it's making a difference. One of my friends, Michael Lukaszewski, pastor of Oak Leaf Church here in Canton, Georgia, and in Cartersville, he's got 2 campuses. They've done a fantastic job of doing a segment in their weekend offering and say, where the money goes. And they just show where the money goes. And they put a graph up and they show, here's where the money goes, and here's why this matters. And they do a great job. And instead of calling it offering time, they talk about it as an offering talk or a time of giving or a time of response. And they really slow down and plan those times. And they keep it visible in front of people of where the money is going. Guys, if you just took this and you took the slide we just talked about, tangibility, increasing generosity, pulling out those 3 to 4 things, making the budget about the benefits, creating the urgent ask, creating an urgent movement, because people don't just wake up on Sunday mornings and go, hey, I'm going to increase my giving. And figure out what your plan is going to be, keep it visible on the weekends. Just doing that at the beginning of the year is going to help you increase your giving at a higher level. So that's number 1. Fast funding strategy. Number 2 is this. Feed the herd. Feed the herd. Now, this one's going to be fun because a lot of you guys, we don't consider, even though Jesus said, that we're shepherds and all that kind of stuff as leaders, and the people are sheep and we lead them, we oftentimes don't connect that very well in our culture. But I'm just telling you this. Whoever feeds the herd leads the herd. Whoever feeds the herd leads the herd. And you have a herd of people, you have a group of people that you've got their email addresses, you have your addresses to their houses, you have their phone numbers, you have their attention, you have their ear, and whoever feeds this herd leads the herd. And here's the deal, guys. I want to ask one question. Who is feeding your herd financially? Who is the number one voice in their life that is helping them connect the dots to understanding what God's motive is for their life, why he cares about them, why he cares so much about finances and stuff? Who is the number one voice in their life? And guys, we did a study, and we found out in partnership with a friend of mine, Joe Sangle, and his organization, I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. And what we did is we found out that the average, from a study that was in California State University, that the average family has on their television set for 6 hours and 37 minutes per day in a home. 6 hours and 37 minutes per day. And then we found out that the average church talks about money about an hour and a half a year. An hour and a half a year. And so in looking at that, we saw that very quickly who's leading the charge in this is culture, and it's television, and it's everybody else. Now, I'm not saying everybody needs to throw their televisions out and all that kind of stuff. But what I am saying is this, is that we've got to become louder, and we've got to become more aggressive, and we've got to do this because we're not fighting a war of just how to fund our budget. We're fighting a war of people's hearts and then becoming more like Jesus Christ. And so we've got to be the people who feed the herd. And you ask who your herd is, and it's your congregation. It's your church. It's the people that look to you for spiritual advice and for counsel. And so my question is, are you going to lead the herd? And I want to talk to you just a little bit about something that I know about the herd. And this is something that I really think this is a huge piece of the meat of the call today that will be very important for you to take away and you to do. The 3 must-knows about your herd. This is the 3 things that you need to know about the people in your church and the people that you have influence with that we oftentimes don't think about as church leaders. And the first one is this, is that they are hungry. They are hungry. Now, if you know anything about sheep, they just want something to eat. And that's how people are in your church. They are hungry. You want to know what they're hungry for? Well, guys, it's very easy. They're hungry to be needed. A lot of people in our churches walk in and everything's taken care of and everything looks great and everything looks okay and everything looks like it's been done and the children's ministry looks great and there's parkers and there's greeters and we stand up and we talk about how great everything is, and people are hungry to be needed and they don't feel needed anymore. And they think that everything's okay, but behind the scene, the pastor, and I've talked to some pastors in these recent snowstorms that we've had around here that are scared to death it's going to snow on a Sunday because they don't have enough money to bridge the gap, or it's going to be a huge blow to the finances. The people in your church, they're hungry for vision. They want somebody to give them to be a part of something that's bigger than themselves. They do. They want that. People are hungry for purpose. They want to feel like what they are doing is making a difference. They want to feel, hey, here's another one. This is a huge one. They want to feel connected. Why do you think people spend so much time on Twitter and Facebook? Because there's a connection there. They want to feel connected. They want to feel in the know. They want to have information. They want updates. They want to be a part. And oftentimes, we have hungry people, and what we're doing is we are starving them to death in the financial area. And I have a conviction that we turn up the heat in this area. And that I'm going to give you a strategy here in a second that can do that. It's going to be step by step that allows you to be the lead voice in their life this year in 2011. You can start. Here's the second thing. Your sheep will wander off. Jesus even talked about this when he said that, you know, he left the 99 to get the one. And I will tell you this, that they will wander. And you know what? One of the first things that wanders off to sheep and to the people in your church that are not connected, they don't feel like they have purpose or need in the area of their finances and in being a donor and being a giver in your church, their money is going to wander off to the next disaster. It's going to wander off to the next nonprofit that screams louder than you do. It's going to wander off to the person who has a better relationship with them. It's going to wander off. So we have the opportunity to be all of that for them. And oftentimes I talk to pastors and they complain about, well, you know, the people are just giving a little bit to everywhere and they're not tithing or they won't give to our church. And my question is, how strategic are we being in feeding them and helping them and giving them purpose, make them feel needed, giving them communication, providing education for them, et cetera, et cetera. And so we get to be the voice. We get to be the opportunity. And I believe that we've got to know, and the driving force to understand that it is going to wander off. Their dollars are going to go somewhere. They're going to leave. And so we might as well capture them and I'm going to give you a strategy to do that. The third thing is that they need constant attention. They need attention. And if you know anything about sheep, you can't just let them go. They'll just go off everywhere. They need to be attention. You need to build a fence around your sheep on some level to protect them and to give them constant attention. Okay, now what does this mean? Well, what it means is this, is ramping up our communication systems now. We've got to ramp up the amount that we are communicating with people. Guys, it is not enough to preach a message series a year, to preach, about personal finances here and there, and to send out a contribution statement at the end of the year, or even quarterly contribution statements. If we really want to be fully funded and free of financial worry, if we really want to get to the place where we've got to ramp it up. And so I'm going to give you now 8 things for you to write down, to look at, to drill into your brain, whatever, that you can apply right now. They're step by step. If you do this, you will have increase, and it will absolutely work in your church. It's just becoming the voice. It's becoming the person who feeds the herd, and you will absolutely lead the herd. And let's go in it. You have 52 offering opportunities. Now, here's the deal with this. This weekend, you have an offering opportunity where you either take up an offering, or you have boxes in the back, or you have kiosk in your lobby, or something. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you about this. Most nonprofits would die to have 52 opportunities where they could stand up in front of the people that are their donors and givers and to communicate with them, and to communicate with them with vision, with passion, make it fun, make it funny, but make it urgent and make appeals 52 weeks a year. And so often our offering times, we take them and we just take them for granted, and we have been lulled to sleep by the weekly meeting. We have been lulled to sleep that we just meet with people and then the money just comes in. And guys, I'm telling you, if we stay the same in how we take up our offering for the next 52 weeks, we're going to get the same results we had for the last 52 weeks. And so I'm saying carve out, instead of 30 seconds, carve out 3 minutes. Instead of preparing for 30 seconds, prepare for 3 hours. And really focus in on what your offering talk is going to be and how you are going to communicate with your people that weekend, to communicate with them effectively. Now, we've got some resources on this. I can't get into all the different ways, but a very practical thing you can do even this weekend is you can talk to them about, hey guys, I know one of the things that we're doing at the beginning of the year is making New Year's resolutions. You can actually tell your people that if the average person that gets their auto or home insurance quoted, the average person can save $300 or $400 just very easily. And you can almost give them a practical tip to say, I don't know if you do that, but my family's going to do that this week, and we're literally going to take the rest and we're going to give that to church. And it's just an educational tip. It's a financial tip. Again, you don't have to do that one. You can do 52 different ones. And again, we can help you with some of that, but I will tell you, getting strategic is going to be very, very, very important. Now, that's 52 touches that we have the opportunity to do. Number 2 is that most people are not doing this. 12 monthly emails from the senior pastor that hit the inbox of every person that is in your database. Guys, your database is a donation gold mine. It absolutely is where there is huge amount of funding available and opportunity. But because we have the 52 weekly meetings, we rest around and we really get lazy when it comes to our communication in communicating with people electronically. Now, what I would do is have 12 monthly emails that go out, and I would call them like an online pipeline. And you can do a video from the senior leader, put the video in there from the senior pastor, or connect it to YouTube or something, and I would tell them stories, I would give them updates, but I would make them feel needed. I would lay out for them special information that only they get to see. I would share with them baptism stories. Maybe you just one month you don't do a video, but you just write some of the stuff out. But on every single one of those, you make an appeal and you link them to digital giving. Now, what you did is you just increased from 52 offering opportunities to 64 a year. You can create offering opportunities anytime you want to, and you have the opportunity to do that through 12. Now, you can really ramp it up and do every other week. Now, you say, well, people are going to get mad. No, they're not. The people who are going to get mad are going to get mad regardless. You want to go after, and the people who are on the edge and the people that just need a little push, but they're sitting there. Now, here's a tip. Send it between 8:30 and 5, because that's when the majority of online donations happen in America, and send it Monday through Thursday. during those time periods, because that's when people are on the computer and they're at work and they get on and they do it. Don't send it at night. Don't send it early in the morning. Send it during those time periods. And we have read studies that that's when people click and that's when people give to nonprofit organizations, okay? Number 3 is 4 contribution statements a year. Now, what most people are doing is sending 1 contribution statement a year. Send quarterly contribution statements. And when you send out a contribution statement, it is a direct mail piece. Now, I've got a blog that's going to go up later today that teaches you how to get people to open your direct mail that you send to them. Now, this is a direct mail piece. A couple of tips on this is that you don't just want to give them information. You don't want to just give them things that are, hey, this is what our church has done. This is all about us. But you want to make this an appeal and you want to make this an ask every time you send it out. And again, I would say, hey, read my blog later. I'll give you some step-by-step instruction on how you can absolutely do this and do it effectively. The 4th thing is 4 money messages a year. I would say 4 practical money messages, not just asking them necessarily from something, but helping them with their personal finances. Making sure you do at least 4 money message 4 money messages a year. The 5th thing, 4 vision messages a year. And you go, what in the world is the difference in a money message and a vision message? Well, it's real simple. Vision message is going to be to the point about what the church has that you're trying to accomplish, what you want to do, and how they can play a part, just being one person, and how their $1 matters. And you can put a vision series together, and what we would suggest to have that vision series either in the spring or in the fall. And literally, we have seen churches that do this, that increase their giving up to 50%, going to their operational funds, not some capital campaign, not some gimmick, none of that, but very specifically going to operational giving. Now, you tell me what you would do with a 50% increase in operational giving. Now, if you do that well, you could get there. And obviously, the more tangible stuff that people can give to, the more they're going to give, like we talked about earlier. But you can do this. You can pull out those 3 to 4 operational objectives, those things you want to accomplish, lay it out in a vision series, and ask people, say, hey, we want to move you. If you're a non-giver, we're going to ask you to start giving today. If you've just started giving or you're inconsistent, we want to ask you to be consistent. Here's how you're going to do that. If you're a consistent, faithful tither, we want you to know that you can tithe your whole life and miss Jesus. That is absolutely true. It can become a religious habit, but we miss it. So go after moving them to become fully generous people and seeing that God has given them 100%, not just 10%. And if you do that, and if you do a series that way, you will absolutely increase the 11 to 39% that we promised. It's just going to work. It's just the way it is. I wish I could dig in a little deeper on that, but obviously we've got more stuff that we need to cover. Number 6, handwritten notes to first-time givers. This is just a no-brainer. If somebody gives to your organization for the very first time, if somebody gives you anything, if somebody gave you any type of gift, I don't care if it's $1 up to $1 million, anywhere in between, you want to thank them personally for doing that and treat them special. Send them a handwritten thank you note in the mail. I have a church of over 4,000 people. Actually, now I have a church of over 8,000 people that sends handwritten thank you notes to every single person that gives. Because, guys, they are making a spiritual decision to step over the financial line of faith, handwrite them a thank you note, and here's a tip. Most people don't do this. This is a difference maker. Inside the thank you note, put a business card or some type of communication card that gives them their next step to say, thank you so much, you can handwrite it, and then say, check out the card for your next steps. And then the next steps can take them to a private web page, and on that web page it can be your online giving portal and have either a note, or you can have a free gift that you send them a book, or you could do a video from the senior leader thanking them specifically for their first-time donation, and then move them to online giving from there. It really works well. Number 7 is the annual thank you event for consistent givers. Here's what I found in churches, that people that consistently give get left out of mostly everything. And they're the people who are bearing the brunt. First-time givers get a lot of attention usually, and high-capacity donors get a lot of attention, but our consistent givers don't get much attention. Do one annual thank you event where you bring them in and you thank them. You build them up and you thank them and you thank them and you thank them. Because what we found is the more relational equity you build with people, the more apt they are to continually give, and the more apt they are to continually stay faithful to your church and to being a donor. Number 8, now this is huge, is an annual generosity retreat for high-capacity donors. I don't care if your church is tiny. You can pull this off by going to you can do it the church planner style, which I have a bunch of people do, where they just take people, to a restaurant for a night, or for, a night and then a morning, that kind of thing, or a conference room somewhere. Or you can literally take people away and have people, and literally these donors will pay for this, and you take them away and you do a high-capacity, a Friday night into Saturday morning donor retreat. And inside of this retreat, you have an opportunity to not only build them up and love them and build their relationship with God, but you can give them practical next steps on what it means to be a high-capacity donor and what the next year looks like, and really lay that out nicely. Now, the best time to do this is before you do the Vision series that we talked a little bit about earlier. And doing those things in conjunction, guys, I just gave you the entire system. Now, people pay us thousands of dollars for this, and I gave it to you, and I want to give it to you because I know if you plug this in, what we just talked about, and do, even just pick 2 or 3 of the things we talk about, you're absolutely going to have an increase in your giving. But you've got to start this now. Do not wait. Do not delay. Get on it and get going. Have a meeting. Get started. Okay, that's number 2. Fast funding strategy number 3, invest in a coach. Invest in a coach early in the year. Okay, here's what this means. Pros have coaches. Amateurs use trial and error. Now, guys, I don't know about you, but it seems like in church world, we have kind of glorified trial and error. And like the more we go out there and we're the starving church planner that tries and fails, and that's like glorified. The guys I see that are getting it done and are growing their churches, they're growing their budgets, they're growing their disciples of Jesus, are people who surround themselves with these 2 things, the right people and the right content. And so pros, like obviously we have Michael Jordan here, and don't you love Phil's fro, the 90s fro with the beard, rocking it with the crazy tie, the Star Wars looking tie? I love it. But why do pros have coaches? Because they invest in them. And they go, that is the difference maker. It's not just them. They just know that the tiniest little tweak, the one thing that might be said, the one principle that they might take is going to be the difference maker in their shot. It's going to be the difference maker in their game. Now, guys, I want to speak and tell you from my perspective. I personally have a coach. She's actually on the call today. And we do telecoaching, and it's over a long, over miles and miles and miles. But she is in my life, and she is a coach for me in all in communicating and everything that we do. And so I model this because I know that having a coach fast forwards progress, and especially in your church, it's going to fast forward your funding early in the year versus just doing the same old trial and error that we've done for the past years and getting the same old results that we've got from year and year and year. So here's the benefits of getting a coach and having somebody in your life. Number 1 is clarity. Clarity always increases generosity. And one of the things a coach will do for you is clarify what's important and what works, and to go after those things. And what we've found in all of the stuff that we've done on site with churches is that it takes a long time just to get clarity. And people go, oh, well, we're clear on what we do. Here's our mission statement. But they're not clear on how to increase giving. And so we've spent years and thousands of dollars developing this for you, for today. We want you to have clarity. And so clarity comes by having a coach, somebody that can pull out and say, here's the important things, here's where you're going to win, here's where the results are. Number 2 is intentionality, having a step-by-step system to accomplish the goal. Because here's another thing I found for churches, especially in the area of church finances, is that a lot of you guys, you're so busy. I mean, you're some of the busiest people on it because you got people in your church that need you to do all kinds of stuff. You've got staff stuff you got to deal with. You got to prepare sermons. The last thing on earth you wake up thinking about is a step-by-step communication system on how to feed your herd. That's why we had over 300 people sign up for today's call, is because it helps just to have plug-and-play, usable and useful resources that can help to plug in. The third thing is this, is accountability. Do you have somebody, let me ask you a question. Do you have somebody that wakes up thinking about your results in this area besides yourself? And there is something about having that outside voice, having that person that cares about your results and is paid for that performance that really does make a huge difference in your performance. And so having these things is absolutely huge. And guys, I want to let you know about something that we have coming out in February that's absolutely, we're so excited about. I want to let you know about this. GivingRocket.com is going to be launched February the 1st, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing. Is we're going to be helping people. It's just an extension of everything we've learned, all the resources we've gathered, and everything is going to be coming out in February. And we wanted to let you guys know first about this, and we wanted to let you know, and we wanted to give you guys the opportunity to be a part of it. And it comes out February the 1st, 2011, and it's going to be focused on helping you increase your giving from 11% to 39%. And I want to just give you a couple of the things that's going to be a part of GivingRocket.com. Again, don't go to the site. It's not up until February. This is kind of a behind-the-scenes look, some of the things that you can see behind the scenes. It's the first and only membership community focused on helping your church increase regular giving from 11% to 39%. Guys, there's plenty of campaigns and gimmicks out there. There's very few people that are going to give content that is based on helping you increase your regular giving. And that's what we have found. And also, where it's a community, where we're a part of this and we're learning together and connected together. Number two is that, here's the best thing, we have demolished, absolutely, I'm fired up, going to scream as loud as I can, demolished the financial barrier between churches and high-priced financial consulting. I am sick of churches not being able to get the help they need. You deserve the help to have your church funded, but oftentimes these organizations have created all this expensive coaching, and it's just for big churches. What we found is that every church needs to be funded. Did you know that over 75,000 people are represented on today's call? There's over 75,000 people represented from the churches on today's call. And we believe that every person needs to be a follower of Jesus who funds your church's vision, and we believe that. And so we've demolished the price barrier where it's just, I mean, it's chump change, literally, to be a part of it. And then number three is it gives you access to the right people and the content that really produce results. And what we found is that we've gone around and connected with the high-capacity leaders and some of the leaders that speak at all the conferences and the leaders that are just starting churches and nobody knows about, is that we are able to cut through the clutter and deliver to you very specifically and very clearly the content and the relationships of people who are getting it done and where it actually works. And so GivingRocket.com, I want to give you guys just an offer today, the charter membership of what we're going to be offering. We have 80, actually this has gone down since we actually started the call, and we haven't even released it yet. This is the very first time we've talked about this. We've been planning it for months. But we have 89 charter memberships left, and there's actually over 300 people now that are a part or that have signed up for this call. And so we've got people, we're literally allowing you the opportunity to step in, and we know that before the call is over, we're probably going to be out of those. But it's GivingRocket2011.com. You can go right now. You can get there, obviously, before all these things go. But we wanted to give you the opportunity just to be a part of it. And I wanted to lay out just a couple of things that you're going to get. You get $537.67 of sign-up bonuses, and that's real money. If you sign up today or when you sign up, you're going to get the best-selling Explode Giving Now seminar. You say, what in the world is this and why does this matter? Did you hear me talking earlier about the 5 cycles of generosity, the 5 systems of financial increase, the 5 reasons people give or don't give to your church? Guys, there is a complete system there, and you get that immediately when you sign up today. The second thing you're going to get is 52 creative ways to take up your offering. And so what we talked about earlier, how you just get it immediately. It's 52 creative ways to take up your offering, a document that goes through from a real church of 52 creative ways that they take up their offering, and it really works to increase your giving. And so it's just done for you. You don't have to think about it. You get our special report, the thing I mentioned earlier, the 4 shocking truths about church finances. And this is a study that we did, and it gives you not only shocking truths that we found, but it also gives you the solutions, and it gives you the different things where people, step-by-step actions that you can take to eliminate poor funding in your church. The other thing is the fourth thing is the natural streams of funding you never knew existed teleseminar. And guys, I think this is probably one of the biggest things. Oftentimes in churches we try to drop the vision, and before you go out and do the vision series, you need to be a part of this because you can't just go preach on this stuff. You have to prepare your people behind the scenes when it comes to this area of financial increase, and you've got to let them know, and this is a practical tip for you, always drip your vision before you drop your vision. You always want to drip before you drop. You can't just show up and say, hey, guys, I want you to increase your giving. You've got to prepare people, and that's what's going to be a part of this as well. There's biannual call-in days where I've actually blocked off time in my calendar for you. If you're a part today, you can call in, and we can talk about your issues, and we're blocked off time for you. And then you also get the Double Your Digital Giving resource. Those things just come. You just get them immediately. You get those today when you sign up. The other thing you're going to get is the monthly charter membership benefits. The monthly charter membership benefits. Now, this is what you get every single month for being a part. Now, guys, this is what we are absolutely stoked about, because I believe that the difference maker in your church is not necessarily just one new strategy or one new resource or one new thing that you can get, but it's consistently having somebody wake up and think about what you lay awake worrying about every single month, week in, week out, day in, day out. And the first thing you're going to get every month is the complete Giving Rocket digital resource, the complete Giving Rocket digital resource. And you say, well, what is that? Well, every single month we have an ebook, and we have all these different things that go along with the resource. It's a digital resource that you get that's plug and play. Our last resource that came out was the Christmas offering resource. And we literally had churches plug it in, and they took up like $95,000 just out of doing one thing that we had in the resource. The second thing is the telecoaching with me and with some top pastors from around the country. Now, we have some top pastors. Dino Rizzo's going to be on the second call. John Siebling's on the first call. We've got Tim Stevens, Tony Morgan. All these different pastors are going to be on our different telecoaching calls from around the country, and we're going to do these every single month, and you have the opportunity to be a part of the telecoaching every month. Now, guys, we sold just this telecoaching for $249, and so we've demolished it, the pricing. Monthly quick tip video coaching from me, which is going to be just a quick tip for busy people, and we're going to really focus on technology and helping you leverage technology to increase giving. The fourth thing is access to the resource vault. This is something that we're super excited about, because you have the opportunity to then go in. On our blog, we put out stuff all the time, but we've compiled all of the resources from the churches that we're offering to you, to where you can just go in, put your logo in for contribution statements, for first-time giving letters, for all of the different things that you are going to send out, all the communication pieces, the sermons that we've talked about. You can plug those things in, and you can immediately have access to that stuff, and you can have increase. Starting in February, you're going to have access to the resource vault, and we'll continually update that. And guys, here's the best part. If you need a resource created, we have a suggest tab where you can just suggest some resources, and we can compile those resources for you. And we're going to be focusing our time, effort, and energy on compiling stuff for our members and the people who are part of this community. The fifth thing is VIP replay of the monthly telecoaching call. In case you missed the call or you want to train people on this, we want to give you this access to where you can play it for your financial team, other staff, share it with other ministry leaders, whatever it is, so you have the opportunity. Now, you get all 5 of those things every single month. There's going to be written stuff. There's going to be video stuff. There's going to be all of this stuff, and we wanted to let you know about it before anybody else, because it's huge. So you get over $977.91 of coaching and resources each month. You're going to get $537.67 in sign-up bonuses, which is awesome, immediately. And guys, here's the best part. We're guaranteeing this. And so you're going, well, why are you telling me? Because I believe this is the difference maker. I really do believe that the difference maker is having a coach, somebody consistent in your life. And we are guaranteeing, I am personally guaranteeing that if after 2 months you don't feel it's worth it, you get a 100% refund of your money. This is an unconditional guarantee. Now, you don't have to be stuck. You can only go as far as you want to go. But you have 2 months to say, I'm going to invest in this. And I know if you just listen to just the Explode Giving Now seminar that you would get today when you sign up, that you're going to be fired up and you're going to be focused for this year. And you're going to have the 5 systems, the 5 strategies, 5 cycles to increase giving in your church. And guys, the charter member investment, and like I said, we've got even less than $89 now. It's only $79.97 a month. And so we wanted to let you guys know about this before anybody else. We haven't gone public with this, and we wanted you guys to have the opportunity to jump on. We already have people signing up for it. And again, this is the domain to go to, is at GivingRocket2011.com. So go ahead and get over there, and you can become a part of that. But I believe if you invest in a coach, you will have an increase in difference like you've never had in the history of your church. Strategy number 4. Strategy number 4 is build followers of Jesus, not just donors. Build followers of Jesus, not just donors. Okay? And this strategy is straight from Jesus. And we're seeing this happen in churches all across the country. Pray, fast, and give. There's 3 different things, and these things are private things, but I would say to plug these in at the beginning of the year for churches that are helping their people pray, fast, and give, and doing all 3 at the same time, explosive results are happening because it's about building followers of Christ, not just getting funds out of them. And so I want to give you specifically, prayer is a sacrifice of time. And so when you ask your people to pray, and when you ask them, now here's the way to do it. Give them a specific day, a specific meal, give them a specific thing to be praying about. Westridge Church did one of the best things, at westridge.com, they did one of the best things in December that I've ever seen as it relates to helping people focus their prayers. And they literally were praying for financial breakthrough as a church, and they were praying for people's financial issues and spiritual issues. And they set up a website where people could come and they prayed for each other. And you go, well, Casey, tell me the good stuff. This is the good stuff. If people pray and they connect with God and they connect, sacrifice of time, he will do something in their life unbelievable. Fasting, a sacrifice of food. If you help people fast and you pick a day or you pick a focused time and you have people praying, fasting, and then giving, being a sacrifice of money, and you do these 3 things together and you have these 3 things as kind of the 3-legged stool of what Jesus talked about. Jesus didn't say if you do these things. He said when you do them. And so if you can lay these out and if you'll create, even if you just do it for 1 week, if you do it for 1 month, but in February or in March, and you don't have to do a whole series on it. You can just say, guys, we're going to pray, we're going to fast, and we're going to give. And you talk about it and you put together a little initiative and you do that, you're going to build followers of Jesus and you're not just going to build donors. And so when you do these 3 things together, we believe that you will build massive believers, massive people with heart for funding. And what's so funny is Pastor Brian Beloy at Westridge, he showed me his chart of what happened when they just started praying, fasting, and giving. And they did this for a focused time in December. And he said, man, I'd preached my guts out. I'd done all these other things. We communicated. We cast vision. We did everything we could, and we did it well. But we weren't budging. We were stuck. We've grown. We got to a plateau. But he said when we started doing these things, breakthrough happened in people's lives spiritually, and breakthrough happened in our church budget. And he showed me the spreadsheet, and it was unbelievable what had happened. And he didn't even have to get up there and rant and rave about it. He just realized something, and he brought it to my attention, and I thought it was the best strategy that I'd ever heard because it builds believers, and it doesn't just get people to be donors. And guys, that's the 4th strategy. Again, GivingRocket.com 2011. We already have people blowing it up because I have the other screen sitting here. It's unbelievable. We're asking you to be a part of this. I will send you actually the 5th strategy. We're running short on time today, and I will send you the 5th strategy out this next week that you can take advantage of. But I want to thank you for being on our call today. And I really look forward to connecting with you guys, and I look forward to connecting with you at Giving Rocket and you guys becoming members. And we believe that today, if you just take what we've talked about, you make your budget sexy, if you feed your herd, you invest in a coach, and you get your people connecting into prayer, fasting, and giving. If just pick one of them and you focus on that at the beginning of the year, God will do something miraculous in your church. Guys, look forward to connecting with you. So glad a lot of you are already signing up, and man, we look forward to it. See you at GivingRocket2011.com. Thanks for being on the call today. God bless. We love you.